don't think we talk enough about this kind of tired. It's not the tired where you need sleep, not the tired where you just worked a long day. I mean, the tired where you sleep and for whatever reason you still wake up tired. The tired where you're doing things you love, things you chose, and things you're proud of. And your body and your brain are still like, hey man, we're running on fumes over here. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, from basketball practice and games and stuff 6 days a week. And then you sprinkle on a little bit of the work stress, some deadlines, responsibility that sometimes just doesn't clock out. Then you add being a dad, being a husband, trying to show up as both. And not just trying to show up, but trying to show up as both, well, fully. And then sprinkle on all the shows, all the podcasts, all the beard loss stuff. And let me say this clearly. I'm exhausted, but I'm also incredibly thankful at the same time. And that combination, it can mess with your head a little bit, right? Because when you're feeling thankful, you don't need to feel like you're allowed to be tired. Like exhaustion means you're ungrateful. Like if you say, this is a lot, someone's going to respond to you with, yeah, but look how blessed you are. And you're like, I know. That's the problem. Because gratitude doesn't refill your energy tank, right? It makes you feel almost guilty for noticing that it's empty. And that's when I realized something, that we're all tired right now. Deep tired, mental tired, background tired. And nobody knows how to talk about it without sounding like they're complaining. Welcome back. This is Stay Out of My Fridge. And I'm Matt. I also go by Beard Laws. And let's be honest, I'm not out here complaining. I'm not out here looking for praise. I'm not out here looking for, I don't know how you do it all the time, because I do get that a lot. I'm just simply wanting to be relatable. I wanted to talk about some stuff that I feel like is relatable. I'm not the only one in the world that's tired, and honestly, I'm a lot less tired once I swatched over to Squatch Juice. More mental, more focused, squatchjuice.com/beard laws. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, there's a lot of us that we're just grinding. We're out here. It's been a long winter. It hasn't been an easy winter, and everybody in my area is feeling it. But we have that like, hey, we're almost out of this. It's February. February usually really cold. It still kind of sucks. But it's still February. It's a shorter month of the year. We have things to look forward to. We have, basketball playoffs. A lot of people love Valentine's Day. A lot of birthdays, President's Day, if you're into that kind of stuff. And where we are in the Northeast, we're almost out of it. Where we enter mud season, flood season. But it's not winter season. And, you go from the wrap up of the winter sports over to the spring sports. And I love my baseball. I love my softball. I'm looking forward to more sunlight, just being able to walk out and touch the ground in your barefoot. I mean, you can do that now in the snow and the ice. Yes, but boy, does it not feel great. I just want to get out and touch some grass. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are just there. And I'm proud of everybody in my life, and I'm proud of anybody listening to this. You've made it this far. We're going to keep grinding, right? And again, I'm not out here saying like I'm the busiest guy in the world. I don't need an award. I don't need nothing. I'm not complaining. I'm very thankful. And hopefully you caught that part of it, because I'm blessed with my life. I'm thankful. And let me tell you, it's been a crazy one. I mean, just for instance, the other day we were in 4 different gyms. The youngest played basketball in a tournament in 2 different gyms. We went and watched a female alumni of the high school where I'm coaching, playing a college game. And then we scrambled over to watch the middle kid play some basketball in another gym. And it was just a great day spent not only with my actual family, but with the basketball family, the community. And it was really cool. Like, I noticed something. There was a lot of people. Like, you had coaches that went in support of the modified teams. You had, some varsity players, some other families. Like, I just love to see the support of the athletes, no matter the age. And, we were at a basketball tournament, a lot of people, rooting for there, and a lot of people sideline coaching, which that's a whole different topic. But either way, there was a lot of support for a lot of kids, and that's very important. And I'm very thankful to see that in a lot of these communities, right? And as kind of we've evolved this show a little bit, we stay out of my fridge. So we're going to go a couple of different layers, from the main shelf to the crisper drawer to the freezer to the fridge. And I want to open up this fridge right now And I want to jump right into the main shelf. You guys know the main shelf, the first shelf you see, whether it's got your beer, whether it's got your meat, whether it's got, your condiments, however you do your fridge. We all have different fridge and organizational skills, but we open it up and we're going to jump right into that main shelf. And this is kind of on the main shelf for me, it's when busy stopped kind of being a phase, right? In my life, there was a time when being busy felt kind of temporary, right? You would say things are a little crazy right now. And people kind of knew what you meant. This was the phase of life pre-kids where, yeah, you were busy, but it was a controlled busy. It was, hey, I'm going to go to the bar and have a couple of beers after work kind of busy. Or, hey, I got to work some overtime kind of busy. Or, hey, I got to go mow the lawn and do this. But I really want to, I want to jump in and watch a couple movies kind of busy, right? And, we can all relate to that or have relatable in that phase of your life. But there was kind of an implied end to this kind of phase of life right now, right? And obviously now, busy feels like kind of, let's go with the default setting of life. Let's be honest, practices, they don't end. 3 kids in sports, in coaching sports, they don't end. They actually just kind of roll into it because, let's be honest, practices, they roll into games. Games, they roll into film and watching other games, and then films roll into planning, and planning rolls into emails, and emails, they roll into text, and then text eventually roll into calls. Yeah, and let's be honest, at work, it doesn't have an off switch anymore. It just changes screens, it changes seats. And family time, it doesn't feel like rest. It feels like another place you need to show up correctly. And I don't mean that in a negative way, like the traditional, I think, where people might have grown up. Maybe you're my age, maybe a little older or younger, but family time was, let's all sit down at dinner. Let's have a conversation. Let's do the dishes, take the showers, whatever your routine is, settle down, read a book, do some homework, go to bed, rinse, repeat. Now that kind of family time is, hey, where you been? Where you got to go? Where you got to go? Let's do this. Let's do this. Hurry up. Let's do the homework. Let's do that. You know what I mean? It's there, but it's hard to kind of keep that thing. It's almost like life, and even up here has kind of sped up. I always kid that when my buddy moved to New York City, life was just busier because the atmosphere, life was so quick and it's just so chaotic, and there's just no downtime, where life up here in the country, countryside and stuff like that, like it's a little bit slower, and I personally loved it. Well, that era and that thought of thinking is definitely different now because of family time. Like it's sped up that slow life into a very thankful, busy life. And I love the fact that the kids are all actively into sports, doing well academically, like learning life lessons through sports in school. Like that's cool in my opinion. It's not how everybody lives their life, and that's okay. But I'm loving that. Here's something that I think like a lot of people rarely admit, that even the good stuff, it can start to feel a little heavy at times, right? Like running a softball organization, heavy, but damn, do I love it. Social obligations, heavy, but damn, do I love getting together with some friends and celebrating a wedding or doing this, or even just getting away for a happy hour. But sometimes it feels heavy because you're out at the happy hour and you're thinking, man, I'll feel a little bit guilty because I'm not spending the time with my kids, even though if I'm at the stage of my life where going and hanging out with the kids is very rare because all they want to do is sit in their room in distress. But that's a whole different thing. Commitments that you truly do care about, they also feel a little bit heavy, right? Even going to watch my daughter play basketball, something that I absolutely love. At times it can feel like a lot. Not because I'm just there enjoying it, but like my brain wants to dissect it. Other coaches, other people in the community, they want to have a conversation. They want to get your thoughts. And then seeing how certain communities, teams, and everything handle themselves in certain situations, verbally, physically, or something like that, is just something that I can't just turn off. Like it's something that I observe, something that my brain goes, okay, like if I was in this situation, I would have done it. And it's just something that I can't turn off. And sometimes it feels like a lot. It's not just a normal parent sitting down, enjoying some popcorn and watching a game. I tried that. The popcorn was pretty good. And again, it's not complaining, and it's not saying that I don't want to be there, but because everything kind of stacks up, your brain doesn't really reset between those moments anymore. You don't finish one thing and feel relief. You finish one thing and immediately think, okay, what's next. And it's not weakness, it's kind of overload. Like even today, going from early morning practice over to watching the kids' couple of basketball games, jumping right over into softball practice, jumping right we did go to Stewie's and take full advantage of the 2 for $8 half pint or half gallon, whatever it is. I'm terrible at ice cream math. For the family later tonight, to the store to cook dinner, to the studio to record, to go to cook dinner, get the kids ready, help with the homework, get them to bed, back to studio, say hello to the wife, tell her how much I love her, record with the wife, back to the studio to edit, and then eventually try to catch some sleep to get up and do it all over again. And I tell you right now, it's a lot. And sometimes it gets the better of me. But god damn, do I love the grind of it all. And here's something with all of that being said, the weight of being needed, right? Being needed a lot sometimes, maybe it feels like you're rocking a weighted blanket. And, but here's something, I guess, in my opinion, nobody really prepares you for, right? Being needed, let's be honest, it feels good until you're needed everywhere. Until, I know my wife gets a lot where it's just, mom, hey, mom. That can be a little bit much. And let's be honest, practice, being a coach, kids, they need you focused at home. Your family needs presence at work. You're expected to perform with your projects, creativity, wants attention, right? And none of these things are wrong, but they don't take turns, right? They simply overlap. You're never fully off. You're just kind of transitioning, and that constant switching, it can drain you faster than hard work ever did. And it makes me kind of think in my brain, like, was it like this for my parents? Was it like this, for them? And I guess you just don't really realize it as a child. And maybe it's hard for me as an adult to kind of relate to children maybe seeing this, being sensitive to this or whatever, just because maybe it wasn't present in my life. I mean, yeah, my parents worked and they drove me around to practices and stuff. But again, as a kid, maybe you just don't see it. But I think maybe it's amplified a little bit more with the technology, because when I was growing up, we didn't have the computers and we didn't have the cell phones. There was a lot of just kind of living in the moment. I remember, being thankful enough to be able to go watch a lot of college games and semi-pro baseball games and playing sports and, getting to tournaments, getting to this, getting to that. And granted, there wasn't the AAU style stuff where, everybody and their brother has a team, and the AAU scene's a little bit watered down at this point. That's a whole different conversation. But I think, with everything going on, there was times that my parents, they were drained, they were tired. But one thing that they've always kind of told me is exhaustion is temporary. Like there's going to be these moments that feel exhausting, that you don't know how you're going to do it, how you're going to get through it, and you do. I mean, everything works out in the end, as cliche as that is, but there's going to be moments after that where you're going to want this all back again. And I know damn well that when this is all said and done, I'm going to miss the grind, the sports, and everything very, very much. But all right. Let's get into the crisper drawer. Yeah, we're going to reach down in there. What do you got in your crisper drawer? Is it full of fruit and healthy stuff, or is that where you keep your beer and your drinks and your stuff? I'm curious what that is. I mean, let's be honest. We have one that's full of, fruit and veggies, one that's got a couple of beers in there, and one maybe we hide some, cookie dough in there, where the edible cookie dough where the kids will never think to look. It's brilliant. I know. You can compliment me how smart it is, but I also want to know your parent hack where you hide some things where the kids aren't gonna. But we're in the crisper drawer, and let's go with it in our crisper drawer today. We're gonna go why is everything so complicated now, right? Let me give you the clearest example of this, right? In my opinion, kids math. I don't understand why it's so damn complicated. Why is it like this now? I'm not anti-learning. I'm not anti-growth, but why does helping with homework feel like I need a minor in education theory? I mean, it felt like when we were doing math, the math was math, and we could just say, what's 17 plus 3? It's 20. Now you have to take the 1 and draw down the 7, draw a circle, have some triangles come down, and then a 4 plus 3 minus this plus this, and it's all the... It makes sense to them, but that's just how they've learned things. It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe the things that they did on me, but wasn't it simpler when you just did like 17 plus 4, you do this column. If there's any more to carry over 10, you add it, so it's 2, and then it's just the one in there. I feel like that was pretty darn easy, and a lot of us made it through there okay. I don't understand the complicating. Maybe they're going to realize like, oh, hey, for generations we were doing it wrong. For you, we should have done it this way because it. Or they're going to quickly realize like that was pretty stupid. We should have done things a lot different, right? And there was a time math was, like I was just saying, like, here's the problem and here's the answer. Now it's, well, first we want them to conceptually understand the number lesson. I just want to know why the answer is wrong. And it's not just math, it's everything from the apps to the logins, to the passwords, to the updates, to the two-factor authentication. Nothing is simple anymore. I mean, for instance, just to get on, you forget your password, let's say on the Book of Faces. You have the proper two-factor authentication, which if you don't, please get that on there. Unless you're just into having your Facebook be, as people say these days, they just say hack. No, did it technically maybe get hacked? No, but the problem is your password was so simple that a tool went out there, found it, and then we were there. You didn't have two-factor authentication on, so it was able to just get it. No, you need the code. And is it a little bit alarming when all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the morning? You're not asking for it, but you're getting those emails? That's a time to change the password. But anyways, before I go on there, like, to have that. Like, it feels like a lot, but we need it to secure our things. Like, do you think everybody wants to go in there, use a password, and then go in there, get a code, put the code back in and get in there? But it's way easier than trying to have to work with support to get an account back just so you can argue about hospital closing or anything else in the comments. But, I mean, nothing seems to be simple anymore, and that's just one very small third world kind of problem, right? I mean, everything requires a setup. Everything requires maintenance. It seems like everything requires troubleshooting, and your brain never stops solving problems, which I think that's not a bad thing, because starting to see how these AI brains are doing everything for people and there's no creativeness is a bit scary, right? Let's be honest, that constant just low-level thinking, I feel like that's exhausting, rather than just like do a lot of creative, heavy thinking. But you can tell the people that aren't relying on the AI and the technology, there's a bigger attention span, there's more fluidity to their life, the quick wits, the fun. I don't know. I see it in my daily life. Maybe I'm just different. Maybe I'm built a little different. Maybe I'm just seeing things a little different. No? Okay. Let's talk about how passion still costs energy. And you know what? I was going to say energy, electric bill. Is anybody else out there? And I know there's a lot of people probably complaining on the Book of Faces. I don't get into the personal things, but is there anybody out there that has had astronomical bills from National Grid? Like, I don't have a huge house. We don't have a ton of things running in our house, and nothing has changed really over the last 15 years of me living in this house. I mean, I still have the same fridge, right? But for some reason, my electric bill is $400 higher than I had a $520 electric bill. That electric bill is worth or more expensive than my monthly mortgage payment. Why is it so darn high? I don't have electric heat. I don't have electric water heater. Nothing has changed in my house except the fact that they are charging so much more. It can't just be me. Sorry, side tangent. Let's go back. I love creating. I really do. And I'm sorry that you're having to listen to me ramble, but I'm trying to be relatable. I'm trying to have this fun, right? I have all these different shows. I mean, I have different YouTube channels for said shows and podcasts, right? I mean, we have the Beard Loss Studio, which, if you don't subscribe, head on over to there. The Beard Loss Studio is all the beard stuff, the Beard Report, the Beardtery, beards. We're over here. It's a network. We're building something. We got a little bit of some history, some mystery, some conspiracy theory. We have, the Stay Outta My Fridge. We have Street Sign Story Time. The new segment I'm so excited about, Best Moments Ever. It's all right here. It's a lot, I get it. And, then the other stuff that I do with the beard laws and helping communities, helping, other businesses, this stuff, it matters to me. And I almost wish there was more hours in a day so I could do more to help. But here's a truth people don't like to say out loud. Every passion costs energy, especially when it lives on top of real life. My brain, it never shuts off. I don't know if you have one of those brains as well, but when you're in this space, and I've talked to similar people, like, it's not just me. Our brains, they never shut off. We're always thinking, what's next? What can be better? What did I forget? None of it's bad. It's just full. Like, your life isn't broken. It's just a little bit simply overloaded at times, right? And we've kind of talked about that. And here's something that also kind of really messes with you is you sit down to rest. It doesn't work. I don't know if I'm the only way. Like, somebody was just asking me, like, hey, have you ever seen this series? And I'm like, hey? No. And then I got thinking, like, when was the last time I just sat down, watched a movie? When was the last time that I just sat down, watched a series? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe that's sad. Maybe that's, not sad that I'm not just sitting around overly consuming content, but I just don't have the ability to just sit down. It just doesn't work for me. I mean, I'm physically still sometimes, but I'm always mentally pacing, whether I'm scrolling, whether I'm thinking, whether I'm planning. And I've even been guilty of this on vacations because they just don't hit like they used to. The weekends, they seem to disappear. It's almost like my nervous system never really powers down. I don't rest anymore. I don't, I just keep moving. And those don't seem to be the same thing, right? I mean, the last vacation I took with my family years ago, I built a website. I created this. I did this. It's just, I don't know if I'm broken. I'm definitely built different. And hopefully thankfully the family, they're cool with it. It's just part of it. And maybe I do too much at times. But again, I just love it. And mentally, I feel happy most of the time. And that's what it's all about, right? And whether you have a fancy fridge, freezer combo that's like side to side, mine's still the old school freezer top, fridge bottom. Let's all reach into the freezer right now, all right? Go get some Stewie's ice cream. Still on sale, I think, this week. 2 for $8, $4. Pretty good deal. Let's I guess talk about something, I guess, relatable to me and some of my friends with the bar scene. It kind of feels like a different planet. And when it really hits, it's when you see people out at the bar on a weekend. All right, whether it's a social media post, maybe you're just passing by. Today was me pumping gas across from a tavern, right? They're drinking, they're partying, they're living like that's still the move. I'm not judging. Trust me, I'm not judging at all. I'm just thinking, like, how did I ever do that? Not morally, but like physically, mentally, like, where did the energy come from? I mean, it didn't seem like it was that long ago where I'd get done working a full day and roll into a happy hour that turned into late night, that next thing you know, I woke up and it was time for work again. I mean, and gosh, I'm going to hate saying this, but like, it doesn't even sound fun to me anymore. I feel like I finally hit that age where it almost sounds like a recovery paperwork in a super, super rough Sunday. I kind of realize I didn't just get old overnight. Like, I feel like it's all like that because my priorities shifted, right? And my energy kind of followed. I've maybe not matured because, let's be honest, I'm still pretty immature like most dudes. I just have different things that life has taken me down a path. And, every once in a while, do we get a chance to, maybe hit up a happy hour, go have a couple of beverages with some friends? Absolutely. Is it wonderful? Yeah. Do we overdo it? Thankfully not. But those terrible hangovers that you have in your 20s, they sure do hit different if you get one in your 40s. And I'm thankful that I finally learned that lesson. And even I was kind of having a conversation with the middle kid today on how there's one thing that I truly do regret going from like high school athlete into my 20s. It was I regretted not eating healthy and kind of giving up on the exercise. I really let myself go, drinking too much, eating like shit. I really kind of wish that I would have kept that momentum from that 18-year-old right into my 20s. He's just building on some cardio. I'm not saying go out here and be a bodybuilder. I just wish I would have stayed in pretty decent shape instead of gaining a ton of weight, being that, dude that just drank and ate like shit way too much, and then having to spend so much time working extra harder when I could have just stayed smooth. I saw people do it throughout my life, and I always wondered why they did it. And then he's rolled in, and I realized that's why you do it. So if anybody's listening, take that damn advice from an old man like me. While we're in the freezer, there's something else that I really do wish that we didn't kind of lose real conversation. There's a thread that kind of ties everything together. Like, we just don't really talk anymore. We text, we message, we react. But real conversations, I really do feel like they're rare. Hearing someone's voice, seeing their face, catching that pause before they say what they actually mean. Technology, like I kind of mentioned earlier, it made everything faster. But it also made everything heavier, because you're always on, you're always reachable, you're always notified. And I think we've gotten a little too used to it, almost too dependent on it, too comfortable being connected and kind of disconnected at the same time. I mean, I know some friends that and I was able to do this for a couple of summers as well, is just kind of go camp in a location where there's no internet, there's no cell service. It's just disconnected, and I felt so damn good. In the minute that it kind of rolled back into the house, I felt so overwhelmed that I had to get back into doing the content. I had to catch back up. And I mean, I'm already planning in my head next week on my recording day. I'm not going to be around. I have things to do in life, and I'm already like, how am I going to find the time to do this? And I will, right? I'll find the time. We always find the time because it always works out. And when I look at my life right now, the practices, the games, the work, the family, the shows, I don't see failure. I see fullness. And fullness without space can become exhaustion. And I feel like that's right there why we're tired, right? Not because we're lazy, not because we're weak, but because everything, I guess, in life wants a piece of us all the time. So like I said, I don't think we're lazy. I think we're overstimulated. I think we're overcommitted and under quiet. Maybe the answer isn't doing less. Maybe it's just being honest about how heavy normal has become. And that's just kind of where I'm at this week. If you feel it too, you're not broken. And if you don't, well, stay out of my fridge. Again, I'm not trying to be like this mental health podcast or something like that. I'm just living my life. I'm just a dude. I truly just want to be more relatable. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about my life. I want to talk about things as if it's my fridge, because at the end of the day, I'm proud of my life, and I don't think that my life is over exciting, but at the end of the day, it's not over boring, and I don't need my personal stories to go so granular in details that you're bored listening, but I want to be relatable, because I know that my life is a lot like, well, your life in many aspects, but differently. And like I said, I just want to be relatable, and I want to know people that I get it. We get it. We're all the same and different at the same time. So I can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your busy day to give this a listen to. Hopefully you enjoy the new direction of the Stay Out of My Fridge podcast. If you truly don't, and you miss me having a conversation with the kids, let me know. Just turns out I'm home alone again, and the kids are super busy. And I'm just kind of trying to find a way to keep this going. This was the first podcast ever done. It was the Beard Laws podcast. I thought it was too generic. I thought it turned a lot of people off from the show, thinking it was only about beards. And I wanted to be more relatable. And I'm really cranking it up in 2026 with the relatableness. So that's all I got. We'll do it again next week. Take care, everybody.
Knock, who's there? It's the podcast you adore. Stay out of my fridge. We're back, ready to explore. Gotta tell a tale, gonna make you laugh, gonna make you smile. So buckle up tight, it's gonna be alright. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide.